All right, today we're going to dive deep into what I like to call the engine room of the Gulf Coast economy, and that is supply chain planning. We're going to look at the exact skills and strategies that give professionals in this really critical region a serious career advantage. So let's get right into it. So let's kick things off with a question. Think about this for a second. What's the invisible thread that connects a massive supertanker docking in the port of Houston to, say, a life-saving hospital bed that's urgently needed in New Orleans? I mean, on the surface, those seem like two completely different worlds, right? But they are absolutely deeply linked. And the answer, well, it's surprisingly simple, but at the same time, incredibly complex. And that's it, right there. The answer is planning. But, we're not talking about just any old planning. This is a sophisticated, synchronized process that makes sure everything, from the raw materials all the way to the finished goods, gets exactly where it needs to be, precisely when it's needed. You can think of it as the brain behind the brawn of the entire supply chain. Okay, so to really get why this is so important, we've got to look at the unique environment we're dealing with here. Let's explore what we call the Gulf Coast Challenge and really dig into what makes this one of the most demanding logistics corridors in the entire country. You see, the Gulf Coast isn't just busy, it's a whole other level of complex. You've got these massive critical hubs like the Port of Houston and the Port of New Orleans, and they're fueling everything from energy and manufacturing to healthcare. But here's the catch. This entire massive engine operates under the constant threat of disruption. We're talking hurricanes, major storms. So that combination of super high volume and super high risk, it means there is absolutely zero room for error. It demands nothing less than world-class planning. And this really gets to the heart of what's at stake. Down here, planning isn't just some buzzword for efficiency. It's about resilience. Being proactive with scheduling can literally be the difference between a community getting back on its feet quickly after a storm or facing critical shortages of essential goods. So, effective planning here, it's really about safeguarding the entire region. So, when you've got a challenge this complex, you obviously need an equally sophisticated solution, right? And that brings us perfectly to our next section, a synchronized solution. This is where we're going to see how modern planning methods are built from the ground up to handle exactly these kinds of high-stakes environments. The answer to all this complexity is a concept called synchronized planning. Now, this isn't about one person tucked away in a back office just creating a schedule. No way! It's a dynamic, cross-functional approach. What that really means is getting everyone, and I mean everyone, on the same page, all working from one single, unified plan that drives the entire organization forward. And when we say cross-functional, what are we talking about? We're talking about bringing all the key players to the table. Think about it. Finance has to make sure the plan actually works with the budget. Operations needs to confirm, hey, can we actually make this stuff? Meanwhile, procurement is out there sourcing the materials, and logistics is figuring out how to move it all from A to B. Synchronized planning is the framework that stops all these critical groups from becoming their own little disconnected islands. So, you might be wondering, how do I become the person who can lead that kind of collaborative effort? Well, that's exactly where this comes in. The path to truly mastering this synchronized approach is through the formal training and the deep knowledge you gain in the ASCM Supply Chain Planning Certificate Program. Okay, so what does this actually mean for your professional toolkit? Let's get into the tangible skills, the real abilities you'll walk away with. So this flow here really shows you the big picture of planning. You'll learn how to connect the dots all the way from the high-level strategic business plan right down to a tactical one. And you'll do that using key tools like the Master Production Schedule, that's MPS, and Material Requirements Planning, or MRP. From there, you'll see how that detailed plan translates into flawless execution on the ground. It's a complete top-to-bottom understanding of how it all fits together. But it's more than just the high-level flow. You're going to gain concrete skills you can put right on your resume. We're talking about moving past just theory and into actually managing complex systems like MPS and RMP, calculating precise reorder points, and even designing distribution system layouts. These are the practical, hands-on, in-demand abilities that employers are actively looking for right now. Okay, so let's say you're interested in getting those skills. What does the learning journey actually look like? Let's pull back the curtain and break down exactly how the program is structured and delivered. First off, this program is designed with busy professionals in mind. It's about 20 hours of learning total, and it's all online in an instructor-led format, so you get flexibility but also guidance. And here's a huge benefit. You get lifetime access to all the course materials, the videos, the flashcards, the practice questions. all of it. So it's not just a one-and-done course. It's a resource you can come back to again and again throughout your career. And the curriculum itself is a super clear roadmap. You'll see here it starts with strategic planning, covering big picture concepts like sales and operations planning, or S&OP, which is really the process for getting the whole business aligned. From there, it drills down into tactical planning with tools like master scheduling and MRP. Then it connects all of that to the real world of operations execution, like purchasing and production control, and finally, distribution and logistics. It really does cover the entire planning lifecycle from start to finish. And once you complete the program, what do you get? You get the credentials to prove your new expertise. We're talking a formal certificate, a digital badge you can pop right onto your LinkedIn profile, which is a huge signal to recruiters. And if you already hold other APIX certifications, you'll get 20 maintenance points too. All right, now let's get to maybe the most important part, the so what. What does this all mean for your career? Let's talk about the real payoff and how this certificate translates into actual advancement opportunities in places like Houston, Baton Rouge, and all across the Gulf Coast. When you look at why people actually go for this certificate, one reason just jumps out. A full 50%, half of everyone, is doing it for career advancement. They want to stand out in a really competitive job market. Then you have another 30% who are focused on building credibility. They want to prove they have skills that are backed by ASCM, which is the global leader in this field. And of course, flexibility is a nice bonus too.
So, what does that advancement actually look like in the real world? Well, it means you're perfectly positioned to step right into roles like demand planner or scheduler. From there, the path opens up to advance to supply chain analyst or even planning manager, supporting those critical Gulf Coast industries we mentioned. Energy, healthcare, you name it. You basically become the go-to person who can prove you know how to connect the big picture strategy with day-to-day execution.
At the end of the day, this is about so much more than just a new job title. This certificate positions you to become that crucial link in the chain. You become the professional who can translate a company's high-level strategy into actual, real-world bottom-line success. And really, that's the journey. It's about going from being a planner to becoming a leader. So I'll leave you with this final thought. You obviously have a plan for your career, but is it a synchronized plan? Is it really connected across all the right functions to guarantee your success? This certificate might just be the key to making that happen.